Welcome back to the Female Whisperer podcast. My guest in this episode is Anna. Anna is an artistic, rebellious soul, and the dominating theme in this episode was Anna's relationship experiences. She opened up to me about how she grew up, the ups and downs of having a strong personality that is tightly coupled with an open mind that is hungry for exploring everything life has to give. We touched upon some topics that many might find hard to talk about or even listen to, like affairs, open relationships, wild experimentations, as well as her relationship with her family. I hope you enjoy listening. Hey, Anna.
Hey.
Thank you for joining me at the Female Whisperer podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Enjoying this moment after intense and long working day.
I do find your work quite exceptional. Perhaps you can tell me a couple of things about it.
I'm a filmmaker based in Warsaw. I do, generally speaking, films, documentaries, short fictions, feature ones. It's also my biggest passion. At my spare time, I do engage also in film activities, being a member of few foundations.
Beautiful. How did you get into that?
When I was younger, one of my biggest dreams was to do art, do music, do films. I wanted to be an actress, but then getting older, I've noticed that I enjoy much more being on the other side of the camera, and I feel fine with the place that I am today.
What I know about artistic people is that they flow through very intense emotions. Would you call yourself an emotional person?
Yes, I would definitely call myself emotional person, sensitive one, extreme sometimes. So yeah, I would call myself emotional for sure.
Extreme?
Extreme, yeah, extreme because these emotions, like the amplitude, of the emotions, is very huge, and they are sometimes extreme.
How does it manifest itself?
Everybody has a different perspective on it. For me, it's like having some difficulty with putting the boundaries.
Do people often cross your boundaries?
Yes, they do, but I am very aware of it most of the times. I know that they do it. Often it doesn't bother me, but very often it does.
And how do you defend those boundaries?
By being honest and open about it, that I can talk through, that I can talk about it later and say it wasn't fine with me.
So, Anna, from what I've known, you have recently got out of a relationship. Would you mind sharing your experience?
It's been going on and off for the past couple of years. It was very intense because we were like balancing between huge love and hatred. But on the other hand, I'm very grateful for it.
Mm. How did you guys meet?
We've met while working on the project together. Like we've met and the very same day became a couple. So it started very intense.
Is it a pattern in your life that your relationships become intense really fast?
No, it's not a pattern. I can tell that I don't see a relationship pattern in my life. I was in 3 serious relationships. Each of the person and each of the relationship was totally different. So I don't see this pattern. But what happened that me as a very intense and sensitive person, I met also very intense and sensitive person, and it was too much. He broke up with me, so the very same day I packed my things, left, and never came back.
Said you had three serious relationships in your life. Would you call yourself as mostly a relationship person, or you give yourself breaks between those relationships?
No, I am a relationship person. I like having my relationships more open, like this feeling of having this one favorite person who you can call anytime and any day,
Mm.
more or less.
Open as in the sense of not being sexually exclusive.
Um, but also like depending on each other 100%. Like, I've never imagined myself like getting married or meeting 100% forever and ever to one person. So also open in the terms of not being dependent totally.
That was the case for all those three relationships.
No. One of them was 100% serious, and I even got engaged.
Would you mind walking me through the progress of that relationship?
We've met when I was 21. He was much older. He was 14 years old. And he had this huge pressure to have family and kids. And I was this trophy young wife who supposed to give it to him. So we kind of got engaged, but very soon after it ended.
Did you think that this is going to be the last relationship to have?
I had the feeling that I was supposed to do it. That it was some natural way, natural progress of relationship. We were together for 5 years. It seemed like now it's the time. But then I found out that there is nothing like there is a time for something. Like it's totally on me
Mm.
what will happen and when and with whom.
Did the age gap make a difference in how much power you felt you had in the relationship?
Um, uh, no, to be honest, I felt more powerful. I felt that he cared more
Mm.
about it. And I was super young and I had a lot of dreams. I was running around and being everywhere. I didn't care, to be honest, sometimes. And he cared much more. Honestly speaking, I felt more powerful. Like I was driving the car.
Were you on his timeline?
Yeah, on his timeline, we were talking about ends, but also he was never too pushy about it. Kind of expected me to to be this person, but at the same time, like giving me space to be the person who I wanted to be.
It was open, this relationship as well, right?
Like sexually, no. No, it was one relationship in my life, 100% like not open.
How did that make you feel?
I felt caged and I wasn't 100% loyal. I was looking for something else. I needed somebody else. I needed something new. Like I wasn't 100% loyal.
You didn't know exactly what you were signing up for in the beginning, were you?
No. No, no. Also, it was very intense. It was also a relationship like we've met on the party. We went into the beds and we woke up. We felt some chemistry and we stayed together.
Were you in love?
Yes. Yeah. I was in love. I was in love in every like human being I've been in a relationship with. Like it was always like number one rule that I need to love somebody. Like I need to have this something very special in me, like to get into the relationship.
Were you able to separate between the physical and the emotional?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes, yeah. I I do this, and I hope that the way I do it is healthy.
Every physical interaction carries with it some emotional aspects.
Yeah, but I believe in those physical chemistry between people that is also emotional, because the partner that's in front of you like reminds you of somebody, or his name reminds you of somebody, or he talks about the things that somebody else talks about. Like there's always emotional side. It depends a lot on this external chemistry, on the smell, on the eyes. You can know immediately if the person you are meeting is a person with whom you can connect on both levels, like physically and emotionally.
I talked in a previous episode with a guest about this excitement, this rush that you have when you're doing a physical thing that is breaking the rules. Like if you're not allowed to date when you're a teenager and then you end up hooking up with a classmate, or when you are in a relationship and you're not allowed to have anything to do with other people, but there's this great sense of excitement. Would you say that that was your experience when you had other people in this relationship?
In this relationship that we are talking like right now, being not loyal and having this double life, it was very difficult. And it was not full of excitement. It was more like I had some internal feeling that this relationship will not work. So I was like looking for somebody else. I believe that that's the reason why I was doing that. I was trying to see and to believe that there are many more people with whom I can connect. But in the other relationship, which was legally open, it was about excitement, but also about taking care of myself, to be able to connect with other perspectives and with different worlds and with different people, and taking care of myself by doing that.
What is the most exciting thing you've done in those open relationships, or what you call them legally open?
Few of my dreams like came true during these relationships. A lot of things that I've always thought about, but I didn't have possibility to do them. The most exciting thing was the thing that I've been always thinking about, was having sex with more than one guy, but I was always afraid of it. But then it happened, and it was amazing for the first time, and it was amazing every other time. And it wasn't that scary.
Tell me, Anna, how do you make sure that these experiences are gonna be good? What things to that you kept in mind? Did you have any rules?
I do have rules, and I like to be very open about them way before, and not the time we meet, but before we meet. I'm very strict about few rules, but generally speaking, I'm open for many different things. And as long as people respect my boundaries.
Was this your first quote unquote wild experience?
My very first sex in life was in public. I lost my virginity in the park. So I kind of started very wild way, and it was awesome. I don't have regular Christian sex life for sure.
A lot of things that happen behind closed doors that no one knows about.
That was the thing that I was really surprised about, and uh, what gave confidence in exploring myself and also my relationship, because in different activities my partner was involved. So it was also not only about me, but we were exploring a lot of things together while searching for people to explore with. Like we found websites or places where people are absolutely different, and big percentage of them are Christians. We have no idea what people are doing in the dark.
Speaking of the things that people do in the dark, when was the first time that you had a third person in the room? In the dark or in the light?
When I was 20, it was me, my best friends, and some guy, and it happened a few times, and yeah, it was nice. We were at home and it started, but it was just like this moment.
And it felt just natural.
Yeah, 100% natural.
Did that change you in a way?
Yes, each of these situations changes me because I'm lucky that almost all of them happened naturally and I felt nice. Like I didn't have a lot of unpleasant situations that I could had. So also I'm lucky because most of the times, like 98% of the times, it was natural.
What about those 2%?
Those 2% are the situations where after it happened, I felt guilty and I felt that I should have said no.
Was jealousy involved?
No, I don't think it was about being jealous, but choosing the wrong person. It didn't feel natural. It felt fake. It felt forced a bit. It felt acted, no?
Would you call yourself a jealous person?
Yeah, I would call myself a jealous person.
How do you mix between those two worlds, the world of opening up and at the same time being a jealous person?
It's not like being jealous, it's more feeling secure that those situations makes me feel insecure.
Did you grow up in a big city, Anna?
It's not the biggest in Poland, but it's one of the capitals of the regions.
Did you have like a normal childhood or was it a bit more restrictive?
I had a lot of rules. I was the first kid in the family, so I was very well looked at and taken care of. I grew up in happy and full family. My parents all are still together and living their very good life right now. It was for the moment very strict, and I was the rebellious one. I was running away sometimes, and for the very first time, and I ran away when I was 6 years old, and I ran away for 8 hours. Yeah, so I was running away.
Were you scared?
No, 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 no. I was taking a lot of risk and being very courageous. It's it's not easy to scare me.
How did your parents deal with this inability to scare
Sometimes what they were doing extreme. Like they wanted, when they wanted to punish me, they were punishing me like 100%. Never physically, never in an abusive way or in a violent way. I've never experienced any abuse from my parents or family, but they had their ways to punish me, to distance me from my friends, to lock me in the home without computer and my phone, or send me with my father to work abroad. So they were doing their best to somehow control me, but I think they didn't manage to do it.
Where did this rebellious streak come from?
It comes from this huge need of being independent and anger at my parents that they try to control me and they try to influence me and my life. Like expecting me to go to this school, expecting me to look that way, expect me to behave this way, expect me to believe in that. And I hate when people do this to me. It may sound also not logical, but at the very same time, I feel much better when somebody has a control on me, but it needs to happen on my terms. and I need to feel okay with that.
Was it the traditional family?
I have a younger sister, and we are different, but we are also the same. I broke this glass ceiling, and her teenage years were totally different. My parents went through all this hell with me, so there was nothing that she could have done to scare them. She wasn't as intense as I was, but it was much easier for her. She could freely fly away. And when she was coming back home drunk as a teenager from a high school party, my mom was laughing and giving her food and worrying about her that she will have a hangover. And when I was coming back home drunk from the high school party, my parents were not talking to me for that 2 days because they were so angry, or they didn't allow me to go somewhere, for example.
So you desensitized your parents to a lot of things.
Yes, also they've, at the very end, they've accepted me. Now we have a great contact and we are spending time with each other. And the older I am, the more open they are, and they are not putting any pressure on me, and they are super tolerant. The older I am, the more chaotic my life may look like. That I'm getting older, I don't have grounded relationship, I don't have kids. I have a artistic job, and I don't know for how long it will be good as it is right now. The older I am, so the more open they are for it. They don't put any pressure on me. And now they see that somehow I am fine living the life that I want to live. They somehow accepted me.
So they don't have any expectations of outcomes from you.
They have their dreams. One of them is like me having kids. But they are also super aware of it that it's their dream. I have no idea where I'm gonna be next month. So I don't know where I'm gonna be in the next few years. So yeah, they're aware of the thing that it's their dream, not mine right now. So they don't put the pressure on me.
What is the ideal dream in your mind for the next few years?
I want to feel peace and fulfilled and like having new challenges. But I don't have a perfect scenario. I know that there are 50 different scenarios that may happen.
Are there any specific set of rules that you set to filter out the people that you get into your life to match this rhythm that you want to head towards?
For sure, I need to trust my guts more and not believe all the time that something will change or that something will happen, but to be more active in the relationships and react earlier and ending relationships earlier if they just don't work.
And are your needs evolving? Do you have different phases in your life? Like the things that you would require now, how different are they from the things that you would have required from your partners, 5 or 10 years ago?
I think 5 or 10 years ago, I wanted more improvisation, and something needs to be happening all the time, and the life needs to be in hurry, and we need to take it all from the world. Now I see that I appreciate some stability and relationships that are very grounded, and the relationships where I can trust this person 100% of being me, uh, not hiding myself.
Does that mean you were hiding yourself from your previous partners?
Sometimes I was afraid that if they will see that I'm struggling, showing my vulnerability in the relationships, I was afraid that it will end this relationship. Didn't allow myself 100% to be this sensitive and vulnerable person, but very often I was trying to prove that I am, more powerful than I actually am.
Is your type of man changing over time?
Yeah.
In what way?
I don't know, maybe not the good way.
Is there a good way?
I don't know. Every other relationship I'm in, it's getting crazier and crazier. I have no idea where I'm gonna be in the next 10 years.
Did you have experiences with quote unquote nice guys?
Yeah. Yeah, this older guy that I was with and I was engaged with, he was truly a good guy. I was the bad one in that story.
I want you to imagine the most passionate, intimate experience you had with someone in your life.
Mm.
And I want you to tell me what made this specific, intimate experience with this specific person that much more exciting and memorable.
I guess the tension I felt, the air was so heavy. The time doesn't exist. Like, you get this feeling of being here with this person, but at the very same time being somewhere else.
What made it specific to him?
That I could have trusted him 100%. I would let him do everything.
Were you able to were you able to replicate the experience?
Yeah, it happened few times with the same person. Just 1000% natural, magical somehow. This transcendent feeling of like time that existed. And what's interesting, we were not in love, but it was a relationship full of respect and trust and intimacy, and we were able to feel it.
So connection doesn't require time and commitment.
Not in my case.
How did you meet this magical person?
Like, to be honest, my partner met him and he connected us, and we were planning to like meet all of us and check if it may happen, but somehow we ended up seeing only two of us, and we end up meeting for a few months on a regular basis
Without your partner?
without me.
Did that create a strain on the relationship that you had those intense emotions or intense experiences to someone else?
I believe it fucked up my relationship. Like, I was very honest about it with my partner, and he knew what kind of connection we have. And I believe it made him feel very insecure, even if I was doing my best to keep him secure. Our breakup like started with this. Like, it was too much. Like, it wasn't just regular sex with regular guy. Like, it was something very special. And this thing makes him feel very insecure.
How long did it take from the moment you had this magical experience until the end of the relationship?
8 months.
Did that heavily affect the level of intimacy you had with your partner at the time?
I don't think so, because we were always fine in bed. Like, we didn't have any sex issues. Like, it was always very good. And actually, like, me seeing this guy spiced up a bit our sex life.
So, was your partner kind of excited by the fact that you had this strong experience with someone else?
Yeah, like, he met me with this guy. He agreed on it. Later on, after a few first months, he was like telling me out of the sudden 10 minutes before going on the meeting, you cannot go, like trying to control me and like changing my plans. Like, we had an agreement about it, and then he tried to like have an effect on me and impact on me. And then I decided that I will not allow him to control me that way. So I saw this guy a few times, even when he was not fully okay with that.
You're untameable, aren't you?
I am, but on the other hand, I would love to like not to be at the same time. All this independency, like I will do everything on my own. I don't need anyone. I want to do whatever I want. It's also behind all of it, there's a huge fear in me of like, giving myself fully to somebody. That if I will lose control on my life will collapse. But on the other hand, I would love to have somebody who will have this control.
But that specific situation didn't have as much to do with trust as it had with, having a very intense experience with someone that you're not the person that you're having the relationship with.
Yeah, it was very intense, it was magical, and it was something extraordinary, but I could have never imagined myself living with this person. We had this connection, but I was not interested at all in being in a serious relationship with him. I preferred to be in the relationship where I didn't have it.
What would have happened, Anna, if that person never entered your life?
I would probably be in the same relationship I was there, but I don't know what would happen. Maybe somebody else would appear and had a different effect on me.
Do you feel that stimulation or strong stimulations are a strong part of your life?
Yeah, I would say that.
Is there a price for it?
Yes, I believe that this border moves every time. I'm getting more and more bold, and I don't know where it will get me. I'm afraid that now I need this amount of emotion to be excited about, and I'm afraid that in the next 5 or 10 years, I will need much more to be fulfilled. Like the substance that I will need to have more to feel fulfilled, and I don't want it. Like, I'm very fine where I am right now. The older I am, the quieter and more peaceful I am. So maybe I will end up boring housewife with 5 kids. No idea. I have no idea where I'm gonna be in the next few years.
How do you think it's going to feel to be a boring housewife with kids and a fence and maybe a dog or two?
Maybe if I will be in the place where I will want it and I will do it, then I will be happy probably. I'm sure that I will never do anything against like me and what I want at the very moment. But if I will ever decide for it, it will mean that I really want it, so I will be probably happy.
Do you feel that people around you, your friends, are living through you? If they have, boring lives and a children or two, are they kind of trying to live through your perspective from time to time?
Yeah, sometimes they like hearing stories and they like to be involved this way. Uh, but also, I'm very honest and I'm very open, but I will not say something first if somebody will not ask me the question. About a lot of things, I'm very secure, like with whom I'm talking about what. But I believe it's like the trust issues and that I've talked before.
How different is your bubble from you?
My bubble lives in this uh, material and very shallow reality, I would say. They are not bold enough to be emotional, like to dig deeply in your needs, in your fears, in your spirituality. I believe that my bubble miss this spirituality in their lives. And I don't mean faith, but something internal. And they focus on shallow rather than talk about something serious or emotional.
Before we wrap this up, I'm curious about one thing. With all the knowledge that you have right now, if you went a few years back, let's say, to the 20-year-old Anna, what would be the one thing you would want her to know?
Not to be afraid, and that she's gonna be fine. That it's gonna be okay. Don't worry, you will do it.
Things will turn out fine. Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate that you opened up and you shared part of you with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I had to wrap my thoughts many different times. Like, I had no idea what the answer is. So also thank you for that.
It's my pleasure. That concludes my conversation with Anna. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating on Spotify and follow my profile. That'll keep you up to date with my upcoming content. Thank you for listening.